y'all. We back with another video. This is about to be about early North American tribes. Shout out to World in 180. That's the uh, that's the channel I got this video from. Alright, so let's get into it. Hope y'all enjoy it.
If only we could go back in time, we might unravel the mystery of this place. How it was planned, how it was built, what it meant to its people. Now we can see only hints of all that was Cahokia. A huge mound, the largest earthen monument in the Americas, and a vast series of smaller mounds arranged in pattern.
Y'all heard what he said? This is the largest earthen mound in North America.
Across the largest archaeological site north of Mexico. There is no other place like Cahokia. We're still learning its secrets, and they point to a far-reaching enterprise, to a people who had a vision for what they would build, and to a city like no other in its time. The valley was rich, naturally abundant. Its fertile soil, laid down by the continent's mightiest river, was hospitable to a vast range of plant species. The river, its floodplain, and the nearby bluffs provided several different habitats for a wide variety of animals. It also became a habitat for human beings who migrated into the area over 12,000 years ago.
Alright, well, y'all gotta watch the times. You know, we keep predating history to go further and further back in time. In this documentary, they're saying 12,000 years ago, but according to all the information I received, we've been here since the land mass came out of the water, known as Turtle Island. Let's continue.
1,000 years ago, the people here evolved into a culture we call Mississippian. These were the men and women who built the mounds. Like earlier people, they grew squash, sunflowers, and other seed-bearing crops. Wild plants, fish, and other animals were also important food. But the fuel for their great enterprise was agriculture. When Mississippian communities started growing corn, for example, they could produce more food than they needed. A surplus. Corn grew well here. Crop yields were high. Because corn could be stored for long periods, some could be saved for years when crops were poor. With a steady food supply, great numbers of people could make Cahokia their permanent home.
Now, I don't know if y'all realize this right, but that looked like a city to me. That's not a tribe. That's a city, right? And this is just a drawn illustration. They're just trying to give you an idea how many people gathered in this one place they're calling Cahokia, which is the city of the sun, right? So just let that sink in because, you know, they tell us when the European and the Caucasians came over here, and the Spaniards, the Moors, when they came over here, you know, they found tribes. This looked like more than a tribe, right? This looked like a whole city of people. And how many other cities was like this? We don't know. We're just talking about this one. I just wanted to point that out there. Let's continue.
Mississippians could also exchange surplus crops for meat, tools, clothing, or other items. This meant some people didn't have to farm. They could specialize in other activities, such as tool making. So corn and other crops became more than food. They fueled a whole society. The leader might demand a share of corn to use for a variety of purposes. His emissaries might trade their community's surplus for rare and exotic goods, such as copper or seashells. Mississippian communities traded.
I want to stop right there. So basically, they letting you know they had a trade system, a bartering system, a monetary system. It wasn't with money. It was either what you can grow, what you can catch, right, what you can hunt, and what you can create. That was their trading system. That was their method of bartering to get certain things that they needed from other communities. All right, let's keep going.
In this way over a network that spanned thousands of miles, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Ozarks. All of these communities were part of the Mississippian tradition. The larger ones built massive, flat-topped mounds, huge platforms of earth where temples or other buildings were erected.
It's sad that all we got to go about to actually find out the truth about, the people that actually live here, the ancestors that actually live here, are pictures, because they destroyed everything. When they destroy, that's because they don't want you to know. They did the same thing in Egypt with the Alexandria the Great library, right? They destroyed everything. They did the same thing when they went to Babylon, right? They destroyed everything. So when you have people who destroy things, wisdom is lost, history is lost, all kinds of things are lost, and then it's left up to interpretation. So this is what we have right now, the interpretation of what they see left. Let's keep going.
In the American Bottom region, where the Mississippi and the Missouri rivers converge, there was an even more closely linked network. Small communities, some consisting of just a few houses planted at the edge of a cornfield, were linked to larger villages, which were themselves linked to still larger communities, some with thousands of residents. At the center of them all was Cahokia. Cahokia, the great mounds, the vast ceremonial plazas, houses as far as the eye could see. Cahokia. It was the seat of power, of vitality, of wealth, of security. It prevailed for several hundred years. Cahokia. Its many parts were sited with great and deliberate precision. Each area had a function. There were enormous plazas for games, ceremonies, and great gatherings. There were miles of stockade wall protecting the central ceremonial area. There was a unique sun calendar that we call Woodhenge. There were fields of corn and other crops vast enough to feed up to 20,000 inhabitants and produce a surplus. There were immense pits, and from these earth for the mounds was dug. There were ridge-top mounds marking the city's boundaries. There were flat-top mounds where buildings stood, and there were conical burial mounds. And there was one mound, greater than all the others, greater than any other structure in the whole Mississippian world. This great platform of earth was at the center of the community. It was the highest point and the home of the chief. From here, he ruled the earth and spoke to the sky. His wealth was immeasurable, his wisdom profound, his authority unquestionable. The chief was responsible for maintaining balance between the spiritual forces of the upper world and the lower world. And perhaps even more challenging, he was responsible for maintaining order and harmony among the people. Service rendered to him was as to the gods. With his wisest advisors, the chief directed construction of the great mound, the site of his temple. For the thousands of laborers, building the mound was an act of loyalty and of faith. Building it in stages, they dug the earth with stone hoes and carried it on their backs in woven baskets, 50 to 60 pounds at a time, 15 million times over a 300-year period. They watched the great mound as it grew, and they were proud. Cahokia was a busy place, bustling with human energy. The people made and used tools and other objects. They obtained and prepared food. They built houses and other structures. They struggled with all the byproducts of urban life, such as crowding, garbage, crime. They raised children, nursed their sick, and buried their dead. As Cahokia grew in population, it also grew in complexity. A single-family group, which in an earlier time would have been able to provide for all its own needs, now had to trade and work with other clans and families to survive. Much as in our own society, relationships extended beyond the family to weave a web of interdependence within the community. For the people of Cahokia, each day was a challenge to the body, to the mind, and to the spirit. Like human beings everywhere and in every era, Mississippian people used their myths and beliefs to help them understand their world, its seen and unseen aspects, its known and unknown nature. We find clues to their beliefs in the rituals they performed and in the symbols they used.
This is how I will prove.
Alright, y'all. So basically, they trying to tell us, about the ritual that they performed, the symbols that they used. This is all speculation, right? For this documentary, unless they actually know for sure, this is all speculation. I do have some books that I am going to post, further down the line when the channel starts growing. I actually get viewers on the channel. About how the United States government actually studied a lot of the civilizations that was here. They knew their customs, their heritage, their lifestyle, their language, what they ate, what they didn't eat, how they worshiped. It's about 6 different volumes that I have found during my seeking journey, seeking thyself. So I'm going to put those out there, but I just wanted to let y'all know, this is all speculation. They really don't know.
A seed is buried, like a friend who has passed away, and from it grows a new plant which ripens and is harvested, so that the seed may be planted again. Death follows life, and life follows death. It is a cycle never ending. Or consider the snake that lives under the earth and can be seen to emerge from its old dead skin wearing a fresh new one. or witness the sun, the giver of fire and life, advancing across the heavens in a perfect, predictable arc. Use it to chart the seasons. Use it to mark the moment when day and night are equal. Use it to measure the cycles of life. Today, we look back at Cahokia with boundless curiosity. Every day, new scientific techniques, new technologies, and new ideas help us to understand the culture that ruled this valley for hundreds of years.
Thousands of years.
But there are still many mysteries to unravel and many discoveries to be made. For example, no one knows exactly why Cahokia began to decline sometime late in the 13th or early in the 14th century. We know the end came slowly, over many years, as Cahokia's authority and power were challenged. We know poor nutrition and disease were growing problems. Maybe changes in
I just want to put it out there that a lot of the changes, these diseases, these wars, they came from foreign, Caucasian, and Spaniard, and Portuguese, and French explorers who came over to conquer our lands, especially with the decree of the Pope in the 1400s. So we need to be real clear at the message we make. We understand why these cities declined. They declined because of foreign invasion. They declined because of civil war. They declined because people who did not understand the culture came to ratify the culture and made the people yield to their culture, which is Catholicism, which is Christianity, and what was known on these lands as Protestants. Right? Let's keep it moving. I think we got a couple more minutes.
Climate, dwindling resources, and a growing population. Or perhaps class warfare, conflicts within the group or from the outside also contributed to the decline. These mysteries endure, and they challenge us to think harder, to reach back with the power of imagination to a time long ago when embers, fed by the sacred fire, glowed and smoldered through the night.
In those days the earth was bountiful, and my people were many, and many fires warmed us. We planted maize and prayed for blessings from the rain and the sun.
We traveled far and returned with many fine things. We saw fine houses and great temples.
But wherever we walked, we sang proud songs about the greatness of our home, because none we saw throughout the land could match the splendor and the majesty of this place.
This place, where the maize grows tallest, where the runners are most swift, where the builders reach the sky, and where the noble sun shines most brightly.
Alright, y'all. So basically that's the end of this video, the City of the Sun. I just be wanting to get y'all some information about, exactly what was going on here. And the information that they was actually giving us, right? A lot of us, we haven't learned this in school. Not the schools we went to anyway. They don't really teach us about Aboriginal American Indians, as they call them. They wouldn't be referred to that. They would be called, the inhabitants of Turtle Island. They don't teach us about who they are, what they are, what they did, their accomplishments, anything like that. Unless you go looking for this information, it will be lost to you. That's one of the reasons why I created this channel. I created this channel to give everybody a broad perception and understanding of the people that was here, specifically my ancestors, right? the ancestors that was here before us. Who were they? What did they do? What did they eat? How did they live? Who did they worship? It's time for our people to understand who we are, where we come from, so we know where we're going. We're not a lost people anymore. The information is out there. All you got to do is go ahead and grab it. All right, y'all. Till next time. I'm out.